All right, now at this point, I'm going to walk you through the easiest way to join a WebEx hearing. And for those of you who have already had WebEx hearings, I apologize. I know you're going to be experts in this, but I assume that the audience is diverse enough that there may be a few folks who haven't had a WebEx hearing yet. So I just want to go through this for their benefit. When the presiding deputy sets up a WebEx hearing, all hearing participants must provide their name and email address to the deputy, and that's then entered into Cisco WebEx, their system. WebEx then sends an email invitation to the hearing participants, which should look like the image on this slide. And simply from the email, click the Join Event icon. That link that you clicked on takes you directly to the hearing's landing page, so you do not have to enter in a meeting number or password. This is really the primary benefit of going directly from the email. It requires you, or excuse me, allows you to bypass some of those monotonous administrative tasks. Once you get to this page, enter your name and email address. For security purposes, that information must match the information provided to the presiding deputy, because basically if you join as a panelist, you have some ability to influence the proceeding. You can mute and unmute yourself. You can join by video. Folks, and of course I'll touch on this a little bit later, but folks who join as an attendee, meaning folks from the general public, they can only view the proceeding, but they can't really do anything to interfere. So for security purposes, you've been designated as a panelist, so your information must match. Once you enter that information in, click Submit. That takes you to this page, which is a bit redundant, but you click Join. And then if this is the first time that you have joined a hearing through WebEx, that is, you'll see a page that looks like this. Now, the exact page that you see will vary depending on the type of browser you use. So if you're using Firefox, which has actually worked really well with Cisco WebEx hearings, your page will look a little bit different, and it'll be specific to Firefox. What this page is doing is prompting you to download an extension to make your browser compatible with WebEx. If for some reason you have trouble connecting, I do suggest that you try another browser. Again, Firefox has worked really well. Chrome has worked well too. Edge has done okay. I think we've probably run into the most problems with Internet Explorer, particularly older versions. And then I also have heard some feedback that Chromebooks, which, again, it uses the Chrome browser, but there have been some issues with Chromebooks. I'm not exactly sure why that is, but I would, if you have a Chromebook and that's your only device, I would note that to the presiding deputy, and then we can try to work around that. So, I mentioned that first arrow is attempting to download an extension to your browser, basically update your browser. If you don't want to do that for some reason, there is another option. Now, earlier I said, that download is optional, and that's because you can click Run a Temporary Application, and that allows you to join the hearing without permanently downloading something to your computer. Some people just don't want to do that, and that's okay. That link is the second arrow at the bottom of the page. Personally, I would recommend that you go ahead and update your browser unless your IT department has advised you otherwise. This will allow you to join quicker and more seamlessly in the future. So you're almost ready to join the hearing, and this is what you see. It's a preview window that appears on your screen. Now, before you select the Join Meeting icon, I want you to do a couple things. First, enable your camera, and that's identified by the arrow on this page. This will give you a preview of what will be on the screen for the entire world to see before you join a hearing. These hearings are open to the public, by the way. Second, you need to choose how you want to connect to the hearing's audio. Using your computer and internet connection for audio is one option. This is the default and is shown in this drop-down menu that's highlighted with the blue box. Really, if you have the internet bandwidth for this, this is the better option. The audio quality is just better for some reason. And really, I think it's a syncing issue, but the audio quality is better if you can join to the audio through your internet. Whatever setting you choose, however, will be remembered when you join for future hearings. Now, if you can't join through your internet, there is another option. Typically what we see is, in some cases there's been an echo or which is feedback, or maybe there's a poor internet connection and it distorts the hearing audio and sometimes the video as well. If that's happened to you in the past, you may want to consider using your telephone to connect to the hearing's audio. So when you select that menu at the bottom of the page, this pop-up menu appears. Simply enter your telephone number in the box beside Call Me, and Webex will actually call you directly. It's a California number, so don't dismiss it because you think it's some kind of election campaign call. Do accept it. It's that's the way it's supposed to be. The Call Me option is actually better than the Call In option. For some reason, again, we've just been told that the audio sync is better if Webex calls you rather than you calling in. So that's my recommendation if you're going to use your telephone to connect to the hearing audio. One last thing before you join. If you are using your computer for audio, I recommend testing your speakers and microphone before joining the hearing. You do this by clicking this button on the bottom right-hand side of your screen. You will see a pop-up box appear. It looks like this. Click Test for Speaker. The sound, assuming everything's working, the sound will, some music will play back to you. For your microphone, when you click Test, it records your voice and then will play back to you afterwards. If you do not hear anything, make sure your speakers and microphone are unmuted. Okay, so first sort of troubleshooting step. If so, and you're still not hearing any sound, you can actually change your computer settings by, I lost my laser pointer. All right, you can do that by actually clicking the arrows here in the drop-down menu and changing your settings there. And if that doesn't work, third and final step, you probably need to connect to the hearing audio by your telephone. But at least there are options, and Webex is pretty flexible that way. All right, so after you do that, you'll go back to this main screen and you'll click the Join Meeting button. When you join the hearing, Webex mutes your microphone to limit disruptions of people who join. So you will need to unmute once you're in the hearing, and that's why I didn't tell you to press that button there, which is the mute button for Webex, because whether you press it or not, when you join the hearing, it will mute you. So you'll need to unmute yourself when you join the hearing. All right, now that was for joining a Webex hearing on a computer. Joining on a mobile device is very similar. Very quickly, I'll run through this. You'll still join the event from your email. If you've not already downloaded the Webex app, you'll be prompted to do so from your device's app store. You'll select download and then open the app once it's installed through your app store. You'll need to re-enter your name, email address, and the meeting number, which is available through the email invitation that you received to join the hearing. And then you will need to allow Webex to access your camera and microphone on your telephone. After that, you can select join. And if you're worried about anything, you can always disable camera and microphone following the hearing, or just delete the app if you really want to.